It's Thursday, January 22nd.
And some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train, and that's not acceptable.
How the latest issue on Ottawa's light rail system is impacting service and what you can expect on your morning commute.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on camera how the shop's owners and neighbors are reacting.
What are you doing? You're going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in.
And a worsening gun violence problem in the Toronto area is leading to some invest in bulletproof glass. Your Morning Ottawa starts right now. Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Will Aiello.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and I like to call it Little Friday.
Little Friday, Mini Friday. It's actually one of my favorite things I've ever heard from you because it makes you excited for the next day.
Exactly.
And I think we need to get a little bit excited, too, because temperatures are going to be falling. Probably the coldest that we've seen from last year towards the end of the year, going into at least the beginning of this year.
And a couple of very cold consecutive days as well. So it's not like you just have to bear through one day and then you're fine. We have a bit of a cold snap coming up.
All right, we'll get the details on that. We're going to start with our lead story, and we're talking about public transit. A new problem with the LRT has transit users once again taking a backseat to repairs. OC Transpo says some cars will have to be taken out of service immediately, which will greatly impact Line 1. OC Transpo says the problem is happening inside a wheel component. They said it's called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge bearing can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure. We're going to take you live right now, live shot this morning at Tunney's Pasture this morning as the commute begins. The transit service does not know if this is related to the other axle bearing issues that led to a derailment back in 2021 and a long shutdown of the Confederation line in 2023.
At those peak times, there's going to be an impact in terms of the capacity, and that's why we're here to talk to our customers about, the fact that, the platforms will be busier at those key times. They will see a combination of single and double car trains, and some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train, and that's not acceptable. I appreciate that our customers will, I think frustrating is maybe putting it mildly. I think our customers will be upset with this.
OC Transpo says it is too early to say when the cars will be put back into service. As for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says that will be monitored, but the system is already down a significant number of buses. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe gave his State of the City address yesterday and said that they are working to improve reliability, but it will take time.
We purchased 300 electric buses. They're arriving in Ottawa week by week, month by month. We don't have all of them yet. So it's not an issue of money. It's not an issue of investment. It's a logistical issue around receiving the buses. We need to hire more mechanics, and there's a plan to do that as well.
The mayor also saying that transit is being treated as an urgent priority.
If the latest issue with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, but Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax.
The proposed high-speed rail along the Toronto to Quebec City corridor could one day reshape how Canadians travel, but many are asking, what is the cost? Starting this week, public information sessions are giving residents a chance to raise concerns, ask questions, and weigh in on the project's potential future. Construction on the first section between Ottawa and Montreal could start as early as 2029 and could open around 2037.
I was just really curious how they're going to try and stick handle around some of the issues of construction.
We need to design for all users, and that includes not just the human users. We need to make sure that the corridor includes wildlife crossings.
It would change the way that people can kind of do business, I think, at least in Eastern Canada.
Tremblant Station, the current Via Rail station located southeast of downtown Ottawa, and the city's original downtown Union Station have been floated as possible locations for the capital's high-speed terminal.
2 dogs died in a house fire in Ottawa's West End. The 911 call came in just before 9 Wednesday morning, reporting smoke in a townhouse unit on Draper Avenue. The fire started in the kitchen, and firefighters say they were able to stop it from spreading. They report 2 large dogs, each weighing 100 pounds, were found unresponsive inside the home and died from their injuries. A break-in at a Byward Market cafe caught on security cameras, renewing concerns about safety for small businesses in the area.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Beans and Barrels manager Nandini Upade says roughly $1,500 was stolen after 2 individuals were seen on camera ripping the till from the computer before taking off with the cash inside. She says it happened Tuesday morning just before 6 a.m. after they gained access through the front door. The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market closed, some citing safety concerns. The cafe says it hopes to reopen by the weekend.
To the impaired driving trial of Ottawa councillor Matthew Luloff, the defense is now asking the judge to exclude key evidence for the Crown over alleged breaches of Luloff's charter rights.
Mr. Luloff was then subject to an arrest by the police on his own property without any warrant, was denied rights to counsel, and taken to the station and underwent a series of tests.
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to all charges. A decision is expected next month.
The Ottawa company that sold Canada is Not For Sale apparel is now selling Greenland is Not For Sale merchandise.
Yeah, Liam Mooney and Emma Cochran, co-founders of Jack Pine Dynamic Brandon, started selling Canada is Not For Sale hats and shirts last year.
The company has started selling Greenland is Not For Sale hats after U.S. President Donald Trump demanded Denmark hand over Greenland to the U.S.
Seen a lot of those hats around as well. I'm not sure now, as Trump has kind of backed off a little bit, we might have to rejig some of those custom hats where it might be for sale. I don't know. It's just going to have to be an interesting one.
I have to start selling some Ottawa is cold.
I think you'd sell a lot of them this week.
Especially heading into this weekend, my goodness, looking at those temperatures, I'm not overly excited about it, but you know what, that we're already halfway through winter. So like we've survived most of winter, so we only have a little bit left.
And I do know that as we get to next week on Monday, sunset, sunrise, you start getting a little bit more daylight. So these are some positive things to get you through the bitterly cold weather.
Absolutely. The sun is out for much longer periods of time, which is always nice. And it's not a bad start to your morning. So you have some relief this morning. We are sitting at -2 with that wind chill. Does feel closer to -8 this morning. So it's not too bad out there right now, but it will get colder through the afternoon. We are sitting at -3 in Trenton, -2 as well in Brockville. Kingston not registering quite yet. -9 currently in the valley. So we could see some more scattered flurries on the way for us. Mix the sun and cloud to start things off this morning, kind of these scattered flurries off and on throughout the day. And we could see 2 up to 4 centimeters of snow in the forecast for today. So just a little bit of snow, but enough that you may need the shovels out later on this afternoon, especially as we head into those evening hours. So we will see some snow mainly throughout the afternoon into your early evening. That's when we're expecting more snow than this morning, but still a little bit of sunshine today. So a mixture of everything. On top of that, there is a risk of snow squalls later on this afternoon from 1 o'clock right through just before midnight. And that's because we're going to see some stronger winds gusting into the southwest, 30 up to 50 kilometers an hour. So this is later on this afternoon. You can see that green, that yellow. Those are our stronger wind gusts. So blowing snow and a risk of snow squalls, especially on that commute home. That's when we could see some blowing snow in the forecast for us. It will then calm down into the overnight tonight and won't be so bad on your drive-in tomorrow. -2 is where temperatures are sitting this morning. That's our daytime high, and we'll actually cool off into the afternoon. Currently feels like -8, but then later on this afternoon, we'll sit at around -4 throughout most of the day, so still not overly cold, feeling closer to -10 this afternoon. So temperatures really ranging. Cornwall sitting at -3, same with in Brockville, Kemptville, Trenton. These is where temperatures will sit into your afternoon, so not necessarily your daytime highs. Temperatures having around -6 over in Petawawa and in the valley. Over the next couple of days, though, the cold snap, it will start tonight, and we have a couple of very cold consecutive days in the forecast for us. Overnight dropping to -14. Not overly cold for an overnight low, but it's going to get worse. Minus 13 is your daytime high as we head into Friday. Again, could see some scattered flurries for tomorrow. Then overnight Friday, dropping all the way to minus 29. So almost at that minus 30. You have to factor in the wind chill. Will feel closer to in the minus 30s and staying very chilly as we head into the weekend. Bitter cold conditions on the way. Minus 18. That's your daytime high both Saturday as well as on Sunday. Overnight dropping to minus 30 Saturday. Sunday dropping to minus 20. And even as you head to work next week, temperatures still way below seasonal into the minus double digits for your daytime highs. On your roads this morning, here's a live look at your time saver traffic. We aren't seeing any major issues east to west. Just keep in mind some of the side streets could still be a little bit snow covered from the snow we did see yesterday and in through yesterday evening. But overall, things are looking pretty decent on your drive-in, and we are collision free. Now let's check out your TSN must-see moment.
Hey there, Matt Scooby in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. And for it, we go to the PWHL. The Victoria and Frost in overtime. Abby Rock going to intercept the stretch pass, dishes to Marie-Philippe Poulin, who pulls off the no-look spinning backhander. Watch this post-snipe show. That's a game winner. What a goal by Montreal's captain. The confidence to try that shot at that moment, a la Sidney Crosby. Poulin gearing up to lead Team Canada at her 5th Olympics, collects her 2nd OT winner this season. That is your must-see moments. Tonight on TSN, we have an NBA doubleheader. First up, the Warriors visit the Mavericks. Then it's the Battle of LA between the Lakers and the Clippers. Coverage starts 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Go, Scooby, go. Well, coming up next on Your Morning Ottawa.
What do? Are you going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in.
A worsening gun violence problem in the Greater Toronto Area is leading to some residents to invest in bulletproof glass and some other measures. We're going to learn some more details coming up just after the break. For now, we take a peek outside through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, and it is going to be a cold couple of days ahead. So make sure if you're heading outside, you are bundled up. Plus, we got a live camera at Tunney's Pasture right now with some LRT disruptions. Continuing that conversation right after the break. Happy Thursday, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Here are the big stories that we're following today on your troubles on the O train. Once again, a new issue has been identified in the wheel assemblies, which are expected to lead to crowded rush hour commutes. Safety concerns are being renewed in the Byward Market after a recent break-in was caught on camera, and a new survey has found that 4 p.m. on Wednesday is the worst time for traffic here in Ottawa. Let's take a look at the forecast, and this might surprise you, but what you're about to see is the warmest is going to see for quite some time. So -5 degrees this afternoon. Could be a little bit treacherous as well. Wind speeds gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour, so the potential for some snow squalls this afternoon. Reduced visibility out on the road. So if you can avoid the roads this afternoon, definitely do that. If not, just be extra careful throughout the day. Temperatures are falling dramatically from this point moving into the weekend. Extreme cold warnings likely to come into effect. Melissa will break all of that down coming up in a little bit. For now, let's take a peek at the roads, shall we? Nothing major to report at this time. Still a little bit slippery in certain areas. The highways are pretty clear. Most of the lanes looking really good, but some of the side streets still need some clearing, so just leave yourself a little bit of extra time on your Thursday morning commute. Well, the issue of gun violence in the Greater Toronto Area is worsening, which is leading some homeowners in that part of the province to invest in bulletproof glass. CTV's Pat Foran shares more.
Following an increase in break-ins, Metalex Security Products developed rock glass, which it claims is 200 times stronger than regular glass. You can't break it with a baseball bat. After a rise in drive-by shootings and extortion attempts in the GTA, the company says it's developed bulletproof ballistic glass. Tom Reimer says there's a growing demand for it.
Will this stop a bullet?
Absolutely.
Reimer says customers purchasing bulletproof glass for their homes have been victims of extortion attempts or are worried they could be.
what do? You're going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in. And I hate to see it, but it's here. So we're heading into the gun range now.
We asked Rylan Morey at the Gagnon Shooting Center in Oshawa to fire at the bulletproof glass to see how it would handle the impact.
It is a 9mm pistol. It's a pretty fancy one, considering that it's not exactly what most of the criminals are carrying these days.
Once the bulletproof glass was put in position, Morey was ready to shoot. Then it was time to see how the ballistic glass held up.
Stop it. Sure did. I'm so happy that it's done what it's supposed to do. This is ballistic 9mm glass, 3/4 inch, retrofit. It hung into the frame, no movement there.
This does a more than a good job of stopping that for sure.
Now, this is something you hope you don't need.
No. But for some people in the community, it is something that they feel they need, and we're here to help out.
Outfitting a home with bulletproof glass could cost thousands of dollars, but Reimer says for some families or businesses, it may make them feel safer and give them peace of mind. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, a new problem with the LRT has transit users once again taking a backseat to repairs. OC Transpo says some cars will have to be taken out of service immediately, which will greatly impact Line 1. Let's bring in Bill Carroll from News Talk 580 CFRA with his thoughts on this. And Bill, I'm sure you're not surprised whatsoever, but a situation you didn't think could get any worse just has.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they've taken some trains out. They've taken most trains out. You know, we have 60, only 18 are running because every train with over 100,000 kilometers on it has to have these bearings looked at. So 18 trains to deal with rush hour in the morning, in the afternoon. You know, in the dead of winter, this is what we have to deal with. And people were starting to feel like it had become a little bit reliable. That's maybe the saddest part. And it's one of those situations where just, who do we yell at? Is this the mayor's fault? I don't think so. A previous mayor's fault for buying the system we have now? Maybe. You can't blame them for taking trains out of service if they don't feel they're safe. That's what they should do. But here we are. And you will also notice, Will, they're not running buses alongside the train because there are going to be a lot of passengers standing around waiting because we don't have enough buses.
Yep.
So, you know, in the dead and dark of winter, now people in Ottawa have to deal with this. And anyone who was considering getting rid of that car and using our new reliable system, that idea is out the window, isn't it?
It is. And you know what, Bill, we're actually taking a live shot right now at Tunney's Pasture with so many of our local residents on the train, which are going to be delayed this morning. And you know what? We're just about to enter a potentially extreme cold warning as well. So people might have to spend a little bit more time outside. When you factor all those things in, what do you think the next steps we could do to just improve the OC Transpo service like this?
Yeah, well, they've got to get over this particular crisis. And that, I'm not a train mechanic, but common sense would tell you this is going to take a while. This is not something that's going to happen fast. We're going to be in this train shortage, I would think, for months. But we'll be digging around about it this morning, as I'm sure you will as well, try to get more information about it. But I'll tell you what, starting tomorrow with this extreme cold coming, if you can find another way to get to work or work from home, I'd be making those plans right now.
Yep, I agree with you, especially as so many city workers now have to be in the office 5 days a week and travel. Now they might have to make alternate plans as well.
And doesn't it seem like just yesterday they were telling us, don't worry, when the federal government workers come back, we have a plan to deal with it. So much for that plan.
Yeah, and Mayor Mark Sutcliffe saying it's being treated as an urgent priority, and hopefully he can back up those words because we need it now more than ever. Appreciate your time, Bill.
See you guys.
And remember, you can listen to The Morning Rush with Bill Carroll on News Talk 580 CFRA weekdays from 6 till 10 in the morning. We'll take a peek outside through our Skycam on George Street. And again, this is the warmest that it's going to be for quite some time. Daytime high value around -5. Overnight lows in our very near future, close to -30. Melissa breaks that down. The full forecast coming up. Stay with us, friends. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. What do you call it? Mini Friday? Little Friday?
Little Friday.
Little Friday. Happy Little Friday, everybody. Today on Your Morning Auto, we are asking for your comments on what is your favorite film from the past year. And I feel like when you think about this, like we're going movie theater status.
Yes.
So we're taking it back. You know, maybe not on Crave or on Netflix. We want to know what your favorite film was from the past year. Let us know your thoughts. Email us at yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca. And I know that you have such minimal time in your days with your family, with this job, everything that you do. So which movie are you going to choose?
So the movies that I've seen in theater this year are Dogman, SpongeBob, and Zootopia 2. So that's what I get to work with, and this is what I've chosen.
Zootopia.
Zootopia 2. It's so cute, though. Like, I'm not going to lie. Some of the other ones I'll kind of doze off a little bit or like enjoy a quiet moment to myself, even though I'm at the theater with my kids and they're sitting on me. I just like kind of close my eyes. This one I was really into. It's super cute. It's a little adventure, and we had seen the first one, so this is the sequel, and it's a cute one.
And you were saying that Zootopia is great because like with the demographic, it's wonderful for your kids, but like you and Nigel enjoyed it too. So it's one of those animated movies that's good for the whole family.
And I feel like it did so well at the box office. I feel like we're going to see more to come because it's one of those ones. It's an adventure, it's a mystery, it's a detective series that they could just do so much with it. So I don't think we've seen the end of Zootopia.
No, especially when you see like how well it did at the box office. You know that we're going to continue to see more movies like that.
Absolutely.
I'm going the other end. I saw a couple of movies. I recently saw Avatar 3 with my mom, which is really, really good. Those movies are just fantastic, regardless of whether you think it's the same storyline or not. But I'm going to go with Weapons, which was more of a horror thriller because I really enjoy those movies. I have since I was a kid, watching those Halloween movies at my family cottage from when I was a little kid, when I probably should have been watching them to today. But Weapons was just so good. It was creepy, a great storyline. So that's my favorite one throughout the year.
That one I will not be watching.
No, definitely not. We have very different movies that we watch.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be hearing from you later in the show. We are asking what is your favorite film from the past year, and try to make it that you went to the movies. If you got to sneak one in there from a streaming service, we'll let it go, but maybe at the movie theater. Send us your comments at yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca.
And coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, this year's Oscar nominations will be revealed. We will get an instant reaction to the nods coming up with Ottawa Life magazine film critic Keith Whittier. Happy Little Friday. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Melissa Lamb.
I'm Willie Yellow. Rosie is off today over the next couple of days, enjoying some well-deserved time off.
Yes.
So we got you covered, and I have a question because during some of the summer months, you have your car seat heater on. Yeah. So what do you do in situations like this when it's
on.
Going to be minus 30? Is it like just on all the time?
It's just on all the time. The steering wheel and the seat heaters, I have them on like when it's, 30 plus or minus 30. They're just always on.
Oh my goodness. And you'll probably need to have those on for like the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put on turbo boost or something.
the warm moon boots are going to come out too.
Oh, absolutely. All the warm gear.
All right, we'll figure out how cold this is going to get. We're going to start with the OC Transpo as bus cancellations continue to pile up for OC Transpo. The agency has now identified a new problem with the O train that is likely to cause major headaches for transit users. A new problem has been identified with the wheel assemblies on Line 1 vehicles, forcing OC Transpo to reduce the number of cars in service. Officials are warning that starting immediately, you may have to wait for another train because there isn't enough room on the first one. We are actually live this morning at Tunney's Pasture. Here's a live shot from the morning commute as it begins. And again, officials are warning that starting immediately, you're going to have to wait. So especially as temperatures continue to get colder, maybe some snow squalls this afternoon over the next couple of days with the daytime high values at minus 10 to minus 20 degrees. You might have to wait a little bit of extra time outside, so make sure you are prepared for the colder conditions as there might not be enough room on the first train and you have to take another one.
For most times of the day, the capacity on the line is there and will be sufficient. But we know those peak periods, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on our customers. And we'll be watching closely. We'll make adjustments where we can. And we'll be pushing RTG to get us as many vehicles as possible.
So this is because vehicles with more than 100,000 kilometers are being pulled from service because flakes were breaking off the surface of the LRT vehicle's cartridge bearing. The problem is called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge can grow over time. And if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure. OC Transpo wants trains to keep running every 4 to 5 minutes. And to do that, they will run a mix of single and double car trains. As for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says that will be monitored, but since the system is already down a significant number of buses, it may not be feasible.
The head of NATO says that a framework deal on Greenland is more about security than sovereignty.
The United States is an Arctic country because of Alaska, and of course Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland and Norway. How can we make sure that these countries collectively make sure that the Arctic stays safe?
We don't know much about the framework of a future deal announced by U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the issue of Greenland sovereignty didn't come up during his meeting with President Trump. Denmark's prime minister also maintains her country can talk security and investment, but sovereignty is non-negotiable. Prime Minister Mark Carney will gather his cabinet in Quebec City today. The meeting comes just one day after leaving Davos and hours after U.S. President Donald Trump took a jab at Canada.
They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
This also comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage and urging middle-power countries to act together. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on President Trump's speech.
Premier Doug Ford is not backing down on his concerns with the new trade deal between Canada and China. The federal government has pledged to slash tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese EVs each year. The premier has called it a terrible deal and said it would come at the expense of Canadian workers and the Ontario auto industry. He's calling on Canadians not to buy them when they come on the market.
You know, maybe a few people might buy them, and I discourage anyone from buying a Chinese vehicle. But if they decide to do that, at what cost? Is it at the cost to your neighbor down the street that's working in the auto sector that he's not going to have or she's not going to have a job? You got to look at more of a Team Canada approach.
Canada had been imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs since 2024 in lockstep with the United States. Ford plans to sit down with Carney and other premiers next week.
If the latest issue with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, but Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax. A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on security camera is renewing concerns about safety for small businesses in the area.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Beans and Barrels manager Nandini Upade says roughly $1,500 was stolen after two individuals were seen on camera ripping the till from the computer before taking off with cash inside. She says it happened Tuesday morning just before 6 a.m. after they gained access through the front door. The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market closed, some citing safety concerns. The cafe says it hopes to reopen by the weekend.
Well, move over, Air Bud. There is a new basketball star on 4 legs.
I cannot. Scooby completed a 360 dunk during the Denver Nuggets game against Los Angeles. The dog received an ovation from the fans.
The Nuggets could have used some help as well from Scooby as they lost the game.
Oh.
There was no 360 dunks from any of the players. So Scooby, I don't know. It worked when Air Bud was in there. You won the game.
Yeah.
So maybe Scooby needs to get some playing time.
Oh, that's just the sweetest little thing. It's your cute dog video of the day, right? We need that on a little Thursday, especially just before I deliver the beautiful forecast we're going to see through the weekend.
Yeah, where everyone's going to want to stay inside. You know, we're talking about what are some of the favorite movies that you've seen throughout the year.
Yeah.
This might be the perfect time to catch up on those because you have such a good excuse to not go outdoors.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be bitter cold as we head into the weekend. Not so bad this morning, though. It's actually fairly mild out there. We could see a mix of sun and cloud this morning, a few flurries, and then there is a risk of snow squalls later on this afternoon. The weekend will be sunny, but yes, bitter cold temperatures on the way as we head into Saturday and Sunday. -2 right now, so temperatures very mild to start things off. Feels like -8 this hour. A little colder in the valley, sitting at -9, but you can see fairly mild across the region. -1 for Cornwall, Brockville to start your morning off. Temperatures will actually drop into the afternoon. Right now, we're seeing cloudy conditions. We will see a little bit of sunshine once it's up just after 7:30, and then we are expecting some scattered flurries. So kind of flurries off and on throughout the day ahead, and we could see about 2 up to 4 centimeters of accumulation. This will kind of linger in through overnight and right through into your early morning hours tomorrow as well. So we could even see some lingering flurries as we head into your Friday forecast. We're also have a risk of snow squalls, and that's because we're going to see these stronger winds out of the southwest. So they'll be gusting 30 up to 50 kilometers an hour today. That's when you see this green, yellow on your screen. So mainly this afternoon, after 1 o'clock this afternoon till about 8, 9 o'clock tonight, that's when we could see these snow squalls blowing snow as well. So that drive home, we could see reduced visibility. And if you have to wait for LRT, not the best conditions to be outside with blowing snow and, of course, colder conditions as well. The good news is these wind speeds will calm down overnight, and early tomorrow morning we won't have to deal with the blowing snow or these intense winds. Temperatures today throughout most of the day will hover around -3, -4, so we'll drop a little bit from where we're sitting today, and it will feel closer to -10 into the afternoon. So overall, still a little bit above seasonal in through your day ahead. -6 is where temperatures will hover in Pembroke, -7 in Bancroft, -3 as well for Kingston as well as in Trenton, -6 in Petawawa, -5 over in Kitigan-Zibi. So over the next couple of days, that's when we're going to see colder conditions. Overnight tonight, temps falling to -14, again, 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. Cold for tomorrow, but not nearly as cold as it will get throughout the weekend. Temperatures overnight, though, dropping all the way to -29. Saturday, Sunday, daytime highs -18. Overnight, dropping to the -30s. So keep that in mind. We have a bitter cold weekend on the way.
Weather brought to you by Manotick Place Retirement Community, a community you can call home.
And here's a live look at your drive-in right now on your roads. Not seeing any major issues east to west. Traffic is looking pretty decent this hour. We are collision-free, which is great news. Just starting to see a little bit of volume build if you are heading Richmond and through Pinecrest, eastbound on the 417.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers, 1-800-JUSTICE.
Coming up next on Your Morning Ottawa, U.S. President Donald Trump has seemingly reversed course on his threats to take over Greenland. CTV's Scott Hurst breaks down the latest just after the break. Here's a live look for our sky cam this morning. Not a bad looking start to your day. Temperatures right now hovering around -2, feels closer to -8.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Here are the big stories that we're following today on Your Morning Ottawa. Transit troubles on the O train once again. A new issue has been identified in the wheel assemblies, which are expected to lead to crowded rush hour commutes through the day today and maybe over the next little while. Safety concerns are being renewed in the Byward Market after a recent break-in, and it was caught on camera. A new survey has found that 4 p.m. on Wednesday is the worst time for traffic here in Ottawa. Let's take a look at the forecast because, Melissa, I think today we should soak in, we'll call it maybe the tropical day of the week.
That's right. This is the last warmer part that we will see for quite some time. Temps right now sitting at -2, feels like -8. Temperatures will hover around -3 today, feeling like -10. 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. We could see a risk of snow squalls late this afternoon in through your evening hours as we're expecting some blowing winds. So blowing snow also a factor later on today. Then cold Friday and through the weekend. -13 for tomorrow. Overnight dropping to -29, staying cold on Saturday. -18, your daytime high will fall to -30 at night. On your roads, still no major issues east to west. Traffic is still looking fairly decent this hour. No major collisions or significant delays.
U.S. President Donald Trump has seemingly reversed course on his threats to take over Greenland. CTV News correspondent Scott Hurst joins us this morning with the latest developments. Good morning to you, Scott.
Good morning, Will.
So I don't think anyone's going to be surprised that we're talking about this today, but I think people are going to be surprised about what we're talking about with what happened at the forum. President Donald Trump is walking back his threats on Greenland and on the EU. Now he's saying that he struck framework on a future deal. So what's the latest that you can tell us?
Well, from starting the day in Davos, demanding that the U.S. needs Greenland for its own security and others, and threatening tariffs on countries that stood in his way, the day ended with what Trump calls a framework for a deal on Greenland and the entire Arctic region, for that matter, but no more direct talk of ownership and no more threat of tariffs on several European countries. Now, we know little about the specifics of the deal. Trump says they're still being worked out, but said it will be a great deal for the U.S. and NATO, and that additional discussions were being held for the Golden Dome defense system, with Greenland being a key part. Now, this change in tune, really a dramatic reversal, comes after a sit-down with NATO chief Mark Rutte, but no more direct talk of ownership after that meeting at this time. Trump, we know, ruled out military intervention at his speech in Davos, but what happens if the negotiations don't go well? Could he shift back to his threat of tariffs? Could he shift back to talk of owning Greenland? Of course, this is all a very realistic possibility. What we do know at this time, according to Trump, is that Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will lead the charge in the negotiations, and report directly back to him.
Yeah, Scott, and as he does frequently, he did a post to Truth Social, and he mentions the deal framework to encompass the entire Arctic region. What does that mean for Canada's Arctic sovereignty?
Trump didn't elaborate specifically on what it could mean. As you mentioned, as he put it, the entire Arctic region. There are 8 countries with territory in the Arctic, including Canada, of course. 7 of them are NATO members, excluding Russia. And often talk of Arctic sovereignty and Arctic security is framed around threats from Russia, from China in the region. We do know Mark Carney did meet with NATO Chief Mark Rutte in Davos before Trump, and a readout of that meeting states the two reaffirmed their commitment that the future of Greenland is up to Greenland and Denmark, but they recognize the test that is facing the NATO alliance, which means accelerating new investments in the region. And specifically from a Canadian perspective, that means Arctic over-the-horizon radar, which can conduct surveillance at far greater ranges than regular radar technology as part of defense in the region, a year-round presence across land, air, and sea, and new critical infrastructure, with the Prime Minister highlighting Canada's mission to quadruple defense spending over the next decade. So Canada and other NATO members are also investing in Arctic sovereignty and security.
Yeah, well, in a situation where we never know what we might get on any given day, it's always great to have you on to give us the guidance on what's happening at this time. Appreciate your time, Scott.
Thanks, Will.
Today on Your Morning Ottawa, we asked for your comments on what is your favorite film from the past year. And here is what some of you had to say.
Dino says, my favorite movie of the year was One Battle After Another.
I do hear that's a good one.
Yeah, and I still haven't seen that. I actually think with the cold temperatures, that'll be one I screen this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I love Leo, so I really want to try and catch this one if I can. Pamela says, we love the new Lilo and Stitch movie. Our daughter is obsessed with Stitch. It was a great movie. And Pamela, I saw that one too. I totally forgot about it. It was at the beginning of the year last year, so that's why I kind of forgot. But great movie. My daughter also obsessed with Lilo and Stitch.
Remind me again the movies you've seen this year now?
Lilo and Stitch, SpongeBob, Zootopia, and Dogman.
There it is. All right, Danielle says, my favorite so far this year was Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I forgot about that one too. Super good, lots of action. Also, The Housemaid. I read the book, and the movie was very good too.
That's another one that I want to see. Sean says, Superman. James Gunn, the director, does a great take on this classic superhero.
I don't think I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, some good movies and a lot that I have to catch up on because I'm in the children movie phase.
Yeah, I feel like you've got 2 lists. One is like Melissa wants to view, Melissa and the family needs to view, and then potential movies you may never ever get to.
Yeah, I do not remember the last time I went to a movie without my kids.
Like, oh my goodness.
I just don't remember. It was probably 2018.
Really?
Yes.
All right, we got to get a movie date out there
That's
for
what
you.
happens when you become a parent.
I know. All right, today on Your Morning Auto, we're asking for your comments on what is your favorite film from the past year? Let us know your thoughts. Email us at yourmorningottawa@ctv.ca.
And on that note, coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, Oscar nominations are being announced this morning. So movie reviewer Keith Whittier joins us to talk about the noms as they roll in. Here's a live look at our Skycam on George Street this morning. Not a bad start to your day, but it will be bitter cold as we head into your overnight and over the next few days. It is time now for your morning fix, and an iconic Canadian singer-songwriter received some exciting news yesterday.
It's like rain on your wedding day. It's a free ride on your already paid. It's the good advice.
Do you remember this song, Will?
Oh, yeah, and you know what?
Oh, good.
I like that we extended that, what we call sod, a little bit longer.
Right?
Let's let that flow.
Oh, I love this song so much. Alternative rock icon Alanis Morissette will be inducted into the 2026 Songwriters Hall of Fame alongside the likes of Taylor Swift, Kiss Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Tricky Stewart, and Kenny Loggins. The 2026 Songwriters Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be held on June 11th in New York City. Those are some big names she's being inducted with as well.
It's so wonderful. You know, yesterday we were talking about Rachel McAdams being in the Hall of Fame. Now we got Alanis Morissette. This is what we want to see.
Absolutely. Now I need to go listen to that full song because it's so good.
And I'm sure we will today.
Absolutely. Well, coffee lovers from around the world are in Dubai for one of the world's largest coffee conferences.
One of our dreams is to bring coffee to all the people who cannot travel so much. Our main motivation as a coffee farm, it is for sure the people.
World of Coffee Dubai has brought in 17,000 visitors and more than 450 exhibitors from more than 130 countries. It's meant to highlight the deep cultural and economic ties that coffee creates worldwide. It also gives people a chance to explore the full supply chain behind the industry. Could you imagine the smell in there?
Oh.
How nice and good it would, like, the scent of just having all that coffee.
And we love coffee so much on this show.
Yeah.
Like that is somewhere that I think like an expo that we would love to be a part of. Even just to walk in and get the smell of it.
There's something about that smell in the morning when it's brewing and then that first sip feeling. Everybody at home who's drinking their coffee right now is like, yes,
we get
feel
it.
You.
We're having it right now.
Absolutely.
We understand.
Well, Italian fashion designer Valentino Garavani has died. He opened his first studio in 1959 in Rome, growing into a fashion empire. His designs have turned heads on the runways and red carpets around the world. He was even credited with creating a vibrant shade called Valentino Red. Valentino Garavani was 93 years old. Sad news from the world of fashion.
Yeah, that is really sad, especially obviously having such a great impact on the fashion world.
Mm-hmm. I have one pair of his shoes.
Oh, do you?
Just one pair, because they're a little pricey.
Oh, okay. What shade? One of the shades that is named after?
I do not. I have a very neutral beige with like the rock studs.
Okay.
They're very cute and classic, but yeah, they were expensive.
Little pricey penny, eh?
I only have one pair.
Probably for the best. Yeah,
yes,
for now.
Exactly.
All right, coming up next hour, OC Transpo has identified a new bearing problem, forcing OC Transpo to take some LRT cars out of service. So we got City Councilor and member of the Transit Committee, Tim Tierney, joining us to discuss the latest issue. Plus, we got the one, the only, Taylor Bennett from Bennett Property Shop joining us, talking about first-time home buyers and how they could save tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm going to test out horseback riding. It's a simulator. This is something you don't want to miss.
I cannot wait.
Or maybe you do miss. Maybe we don't watch that one. The only one of its kind in Eastern Ontario. So we got a fun show prepared for you. We're going to take a look back, live look back at Tunney's Pasture Station this morning as the commute continues to ramp up during these difficult times as OC Transpo continues to struggle. Line 1 seeing delays. The bus fleet starts to get minimized. If you are heading out this morning, expect some delays. Bundle up. It's not too cool today, but just you might have to wait for another train or another bus to get you on your morning commute. We'll take a look at our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, and temperatures not so bad today, but enjoy it while it lasts. Minus 29 overnight Friday, and it doesn't get any better Saturday. Melissa breaks it all down for us, but you know what? We'll keep you cozy on Little Friday. We'll be right back. It's Thursday, January 22nd.
And some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train, and that's not acceptable.
How the latest issue on Ottawa's light rail system is impacting service, and what can you expect on your morning commute?
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on camera how shops owners and neighbors are reacting.
And preparations are underway for Winterlude on both sides of the Ottawa River. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now. Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Will Aiello.
I'm Melissa Lamb.
And Rosie is off today, so we got you covered on the weather front, on the news front. And we're starting with the OC Transpo because there are some problems, and we'll talk about how that's going to actually maybe impact what you wear over the next couple of days, too.
Absolutely.
All right, all those details coming up. So a new problem with the LRT has transit users once again taking a backseat to repairs. OC Transpo says some cars will have to be taken out of service immediately, which will greatly impact Line 1. OC Transpo says the problem is happening inside a wheel component. They say it's called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge bearing can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure. We're going to take a peek outside. This is a live shot this morning at Tunney's pasture this morning as the commute continues. The transit service does not know if this is related to the other axle bearing issues that led to a derailment back in 2021 and a long shutdown of the Confederation line back in 2023. Officials say, though, you can expect delays.
And some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train.
OC Transpo says it is too early to say when the cars will be put back into service. But as for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says that's going to be monitored, but the system is already down a significant number of buses. Councillor Tim Tierney joins us shortly to have his thoughts on the situation.
And if the latest issue with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, but Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax.
The proposed high-speed rail along the Toronto to Quebec City corridor could one day reshape how Canadians travel, but many are asking at what cost. Starting this week, public information sessions are giving residents the chance to raise concerns, ask some questions, and weigh in on the project's potential future. Construction on the first section between Ottawa and Montreal could start as early as 2029 and might be open around 2037.
I was just really curious how they're going to try and stick handle around some of the issues of construction.
We need to design for all users, and that includes not just the human users. We need to make sure that the corridor includes wildlife crossings.
It would change the way that people can kind of do business, I think, at least in Eastern Canada.
Tremblay Station, the current Via Rail station located southeast of downtown Ottawa, and the city's original downtown Union Station have been floated as possible locations for the capital's high-speed terminal.
2 dogs died in a house fire in Ottawa's West End. The 911 call came in just before 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, reporting smoke in a townhouse unit on Draper Avenue. The fire started in the kitchen, and firefighters say they were able to stop it from spreading. They report 2 large dogs weighing each 100 pounds were found unresponsive inside the home and died from their injuries. A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on security cameras, renewing concerns about safety for small businesses in the area.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Beans and Barrels manager Nandini Upadhyay says roughly $1,500 was stolen after two individuals were seen on camera ripping the till from the computer before taking off with the cash inside. She says it happened Tuesday morning just before 6 a.m. after they gained access through the front door. The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market close, some citing safety concerns. The cafe says it hopes to reopen by the weekend.
Now to the impaired driving trial of Ottawa councillor Matthew Luloff. The defense is now asking the judge to exclude key evidence for the Crown over alleged breaches of Luloff's charter rights.
Mr. Luloff was then subject to an arrest by the police on his own property without any warrant, was denied rights to counsel, and taken to the station and underwent a series of tests.
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to all charges. A decision is expected next month.
Preparations are underway for Winterlude in Ottawa and in Gatineau.
Crews were working in Confederation Park, including creating some of those ice sculptures that we cannot wait to see. Winterlude events are returning to the downtown Ottawa Park for the first time since 2018 and will include the popular Crystal Gardens.
Winterlude runs from January 30th all the way to February 16th.
That's so great that it's going to be returning, and especially when you have some of those elements in there. I'm sure when you think about this weekend with the cold temperatures, you're going, maybe not, but it's not open quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. And we may not love the cold weather, but Winterlude sure does, especially for the ice sculptures and the ice slides. So they're definitely going to embrace these colder conditions. So
yeah,
that's the good news. We have to think of glass half full, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we want to remind you, we would love to see your weather shots. All you have to do is send them in to us, weathershots@ctv.ca, and you could be featured right here on the show. Again, that email address is weathershots@ctv.ca.
Weather Picture, brought to you by Box Me Up. Moving, staging, renovating, just box me up.
And temperatures have dropped a little bit here this morning. We were sitting at -2. Now we're sitting at -3 here in the city. Still feeling closer to -8, -9 with that wind chill this hour. So still fairly mild to start your morning off. Cold in the valley, though, to start things off. -11 right now in Pembroke, -3 in Trenton, -1 currently in Brockville. We are expecting sunshine once the sun comes up just after 7:30. Mix of sun and cloud to start things off. There is a chance of scattered flurries throughout the day ahead. So off and on this morning, right through into your overnight. We could see upwards of 4 centimeters of snow. So we will see some breaks from the snow, but yes, more accumulation on the ground for us. So keep those shovels handy. I know they've been very used this past winter. We will continue to use them today as we are expecting that snow. Blowing snow also a factor, especially later on this afternoon. So there is a risk of snow squalls from 1 o'clock right through until about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And that's because we're going to see more intense winds on top of the snow falling from the sky. So we're going to see some strong winds gusting out of the southwest up to 50 kilometers an hour. That's what we're seeing, this yellow, that green. That's when we see these more intense winds. So it's mainly from 1 o'clock till about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Then it will slowly taper off into the overnight, and our wind speeds won't be nearly as gusty as we head into your day tomorrow. -2 was our daytime high. We were sitting there earlier this morning. So now temperatures will actually continue to kind of drop throughout the day ahead. We'll hover around -3, -4 in through the afternoon. We'll feel closer to -10 for us here today. And these are temperatures where we will sit throughout your day ahead. So temperatures will warm up in the valley, hover around -6 for today, but cooling off Trenton, Kingston sitting at -3 into the afternoon. So some areas will get a little bit warmer, some areas will get a little bit colder in through the day ahead. It just depends on how warm it was for you earlier this morning. -4 is where temperatures will hover in through Gatineau. Now, over the next couple of days, we do have a bit of a cold snap on the way, bitter cold temperatures, which will linger for quite some time. Overnight dropping to -14. Tomorrow, -13 is your daytime high, dropping all the way to almost -30 overnight Friday, and then staying cold in through the weekend. Saturday, Sunday will be nice and sunny for Saturday, but not warming temperatures up. -18 is your high, and these are temps without the wind chill. Overnight dropping to -30 Saturday, -20 overnight Sunday. Even next week, slightly warmer as we head into the work week, but still very cold conditions and below seasonal.
7-day weather forecast, brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business.
On your drive in this morning, here's a live look at your time saver traffic, and we don't have any major collisions. Eastbound seeing volume building on the 417, but getting at Moody and through Woodruff. Westbound on the 174, we're seeing slowdowns 10th line in through Montreal Road. Will.
Thanks, Melissa. Well, back to our top story today. OC Transpo will be temporarily reducing the number of train cars running on the O Train Line 1 after an issue was identified with the vehicles, and the organization's GM says that this may cause delays for transit users at peak times. Here's a live look at Tunney's Pasture Station, where commuters are heading downtown from the west end this morning. Let's bring in City Councillor Tim Tierney with more on this. Good morning to you, Tim.
Good morning, Will. I'm back again. It was buses a couple weeks ago, and this week we're back to light rail.
Just like that. So your initial reaction when you saw this happening, especially that you were just in here last week talking about this?
I was. It's quite the challenge. It's something we've seen for many years, and certainly, 4 years ago when we had the derailments, we still haven't achieved what is that root cause of the problem. Originally, people were blaming the train itself. Now we see other cities that are using it. You have Toronto using the exact same train. You've got Montreal, Kitchener-Waterloo, Quebec City. So we know the train is being used everywhere, but at the same time in Ottawa, we seem to have this continual issue with the wheel bearing. So I'm trying to really continue to press to get information about track geometry, or like what I like to say, the Herdman curve. I feel there's something that is definitely problematic, and I want to ensure that if we're looking at the province taking this over, that they do a thorough analysis, and maybe there's an opportunity. Maybe we can look at this quick fix solution for now, but we do have to look at a longer term solution if this is truly the root cause of the problem, which again, we still don't have that answer.
Yeah, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier talking about this. It's been a few years since we've had a major problem, and it comes on the heels of, some of our provincial workers or city workers now having to go back to the office 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Trains down, buses are at a shortage. The confidence in some of our city commuters is definitely starting to fall. How do you get that back up?
I've been watching this over 15 years, Will, and we've gone through ebbs and flows, cutting routes, changing things. Unfortunately, the reality is we're not looking for a Cadillac. We want a working train system, and that's what we all want. And I'll give kudos to Troy Charter. He is a far better acting GM than the previous one. When you look at Glenn Gower, the chair of transit, they're definitely getting the information out there. We have to wait till the 12th of February, though, for that meeting. And I have a lot of questions still in regards to the buses, as I mentioned. I want to see an updated number. I heard 50, but it still reflects 36 that we've received electric-wise. Now, trains, maybe we have to have a dashboard for that. But at the same time, we have to keep people moving. We have to do it safely. And good news, Troy Charter did let me know last night, it's not the Transportation Safety Board that said make these changes immediately. That's good news. That's a bit of a silver lining, but it doesn't address the issue of crowding and getting people into work.
Yeah, not to mention, too, that people are paying a little bit more for their OC transportation throughout this year, and we're having these problems. And then you look at the cancellations.
Yes.
So many people rely on this to get to their jobs, to get to events. Are you concerned about the lack of routes that are going to occur over the next little while?
Yeah, we already had a bus shortage, compounded with the fact now this could have major impacts on the East End extension, as we spoke about last week. If we don't see that extension come online, we're already short buses. We're losing them one by one by one. Well, that line opening would have helped us on the bus situation. Now, if that's going to be delayed to whatever the issue is, which we still don't really know what it is yet, I look forward to that meeting on the 12th. I will be asking many questions on behalf of residents because they do need a way to be able to get downtown, to be able to get to their job that now they're being told they have to go to on a regular basis, and providing that services is paramount.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate your time, especially, over the next few days. Melissa was just talking about how we could potentially get some extreme cold warnings.
Yes.
People might have to wait an extra train, an extra bus, so they might be spending a little bit more time outside. So final advice, probably bundle up if you're going to be taking the public transit.
Bundle up, and, thank you to the residents for your patience. I want the solution to this as well, and I won't stop till I get it.
Appreciate your time, as always, my friend.
Thanks, Phil. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go right to our Lazy Boy Lounge because we're going to be talking about a local organization that provides services and support for victims and survivors of childhood sexual abuse and exploitation. Our guest is standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge. We'll have that powerful conversation coming up shortly in our show. For now, we head back outside through our Centennial Glass Skycam. This is the warmest day we're going to see for 7, 10, 12 days, so enjoy it while it lasts. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Happy Thursday, everybody. Here are some of the big stories that we're following today on Your Morning Ottawa. Transit troubles on the O train once again. A new issue has been identified in the wheel assemblies, which are expected to lead to crowded rush hour commutes. Safety concerns are being renewed in the Byward Market after a recent break-in, and it was caught on camera. And U.S. President Donald Trump has pulled a 180 on Greenland, announcing that he has agreed a framework of a deal, but no details have been announced. We'll have more on that all coming up, but first we'll take a peek outside in your last mild day before everything starts to fall, Melissa.
That's right. Temperatures this morning, not so bad. We are sitting at -3. Does feel closer to -8 this hour, but they will fall into the afternoon and we'll feel closer to -10. We will see a little bit of sunshine to kick off your day, and then a chance of flurries in through the day ahead. We could see 2 to 4 centimeters. Risk of snow squalls mainly from 1 o'clock right through into our overnight, as we are expecting some more intense winds. On your drive in this morning, traffic is still looking fairly decent. We have no major issues east to west, just starting to see some volume build if you're heading eastbound on the 417. Will.
Okay, we got some advice needed for some of our friends. Magda married young into a strict religious background and now feels burned out and resentful. She earns most of the income and handles most of the housework, but her husband struggles to change the imbalance despite counseling. As she approaches 30, she's wondering if they should go ahead with their plans to have children or if this is a mismatch. Sophie and Jeff turn to the listeners for their help on this Therapy Thursday.
Got this text from Jordan saying, as someone who also comes from a very conservative religious background, and was married young, get out.
Oh, boy.
Don't waste your time watching my sister in a similar situation, except they have 3 kids, and it kills me to watch her burn out. And then he adds, reading it again, I would absolutely get out. It's a lot easier before kids. I've been where she is. Just go. It's easier on everyone.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jordan, for the super honest answer. Haley echoes that. Kids put such a strain on a healthy relationship, even the healthiest of relationships, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to need someone that follows through when you don't have any energy left in your tank. My New Year's resolution was putting effort into my relationship. Motherhood, especially early in, gives you these irrational emotions. So being 30, you have so much of your life left. If after a year there aren't any changes, then, you know, what are the more years going to do? Like, you have time, but you don't.
Okay. Are you surprised how many people have been through this?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I am surprised because I was worried. I took a really hard stance on this time, and I was like, I think you need to get out. Normally, I don't say that.
Never.
But this is concerning to me. Like, there is a point where you've done everything you can do to make something work, and if that person is just not giving you what you need, you're allowed to ask for what you need in a relationship. And if the person is unable to provide that for you, then you also have the right to say, this doesn't work for me.
Okay. Well, this text says, I was in that situation. Counseling did not solve it. Call it splits. Forget therapy. Split. Having a child will mean 2 children to look after.
Yeah, I think, Magda, a lot of people are coming from a good place on this and saying to you, listen, you need to be brave and you need to really consider leaving this marriage behind.
It's hard to do.
Sometimes you have to do the really hard thing to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh,
and
man.
like this huge weight will be lifted from possibly both of you if you really give this some thought.
Voice Found is a local organization that provides support and services for those who suffered from human trafficking and childhood exploitation and sexual abuse. Joining us today, we have Cynthia Bland and Keith Eagley. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Okay, Cynthia, we'll start with you. Tell us a bit more about Voice Found and the story behind this.
Sure. So many years ago, I disclosed what had happened to me as a young child. And when I disclosed what had happened, there were a whole lot of things that I went through, and I realized that there weren't a lot of services or support for adults who had experienced childhood sexual abuse and exploitation. And a lot of people don't have the means for therapy, and I really wanted to do something. I wanted to create a space where people could come, get the help and the support that they needed, that was low barrier and that we could, provide services, which is what we do today. We serve all genders and provide support and services for people who have experienced these crimes. So it was really born out of my own lived experience. And I would say about 50% of our team do their work as professionals with lived experience of these crimes.
Wow. Can you tell us a bit more about the support and services that you do offer?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the, we have a number of unique things, but we do have a health clinic that is nurse practitioner led and provides services specifically for people at risk for being or who have been trafficked. We have case management and peer support, really wraparound support for people who have experienced human trafficking. So we provide them with basic needs, court support. We help through emergency exits. We work really closely with the Ottawa Police Human Trafficking Team. And then the program that we have for adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse is one that I'm particularly proud of. I mean, I'm proud of everything that we do. But we're working with adults who've not been able to really work through the consequences of what happens when you're a child and you experience that trauma. We see the outcomes. We see drug addiction. We see homelessness. We see, a lot of mental health challenges because of the trauma. And what we're doing is helping adults to address those root causes and through peer support, you never really recover from these things, but get the tools and have the support to move forward.
And Keith, why do you support VoiceFound?
Well, I mean, in short, between my family and this organization, I mean, they've helped me to heal. I was abused as a child, and I suppressed it for a very long time, and had a number of health issues as a result. And then I found VoiceFound. And I was paired up with a wonderful peer support by the name of Lucy, and it just changed my whole approach to how I deal with this. Cynthia will agree with this. You're never completely over it, but VoiceFound has really given me a lot of resources to move forward and to be healthier.
And is this what you hear from a lot of people who are part of VoiceFound?
Oh, absolutely. So all of the clients, people that we work with, find, that peer support. So working with somebody who's experienced the same or similar things, there's that automatic understanding and trust that is so important. And for people whose trust has been betrayed, it's really difficult. And these are crimes you go through life feeling so much shame about what happened to you, which is really, be ashamed you didn't do it. It's the perpetrator. And so, all of the people that work with us, well, I say all, but I'd say most, mention how powerful it is and how helpful it is to be able to meet with someone who gets it. You don't have to go into your story in big details. We meet you where you're at and help you through.
Thank you both so much for being with us today and sharing your story as well. We appreciate it. And people can go online for more information as well.
Yes, absolutely, and we are celebrating 15 years, so we will be, releasing blog posts and a lot of information in the coming weeks.
15 years, absolutely incredible. Thank you again for joining us today, and again, you can head online for more information. Here's a live look at our George camera this morning, our Skycam on George Street, and yes, not a bad looking start to your morning. We're starting to see a little bit of sunshine peek through those clouds this morning, but we could see a risk of snow squalls into the afternoon. Happy Thursday. Hope your day is off to a great start. I am Melissa Lamb.
And I'm Will Aiello. In our top story today, we're heading back towards our public transit service. An Ottawa City Councillor says the latest issue on the O train is a challenge for customers, but he's encouraged that new leadership is being transparent about some issues.
I'll give kudos to Troy Charter. He is a far better GM, acting GM, than the previous one. When you look at Glenn Gower, the chair of transit, they're definitely getting the information out there. We have to keep people moving. We have to do it safely.
This comes as the agency has now identified a new problem with the O train that is likely to cause major headaches for transit users. Wheel assembly issues have forced OC Transpo to reduce the number of cars in service. Officials are warning that starting immediately, you may have to wait for another train because there isn't enough room on the first one.
For most times of the day, the capacity on the line is there and will be sufficient. But we know those peak periods, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on our customers, and we'll be watching closely. We'll make adjustments where we can, and we'll be pushing RTG to get us as many vehicles as possible.
So this is because vehicles with more than 100,000 kilometers are being pulled from service because flakes were breaking off the surface of the LRT vehicle's cartridge bearing. The problem is called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure. OC Transpo wants trains to keep running every 4 to 5 minutes. So to do that, they will run a mix of single and double car trains. As for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says that's going to be monitored, but since the system is already down a significant number of buses, it may not be feasible.
The head of NATO says that a framework deal on Greenland is more about security than sovereignty.
The United States is an Arctic country because of Alaska, and of course Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway. How can we make sure that these countries collectively make sure that the Arctic stays safe?
We don't know much about the framework of a future deal announced by U.S. President Trump yesterday. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said the issue of Greenland sovereignty didn't come up during his meeting with President Trump. Denmark's prime minister also maintains her country can talk security and investment, but sovereignty is non-negotiable. Prime Minister Mark Carney will gather his cabinet in Quebec City today. The meeting comes just one day after leaving Davos and hours after U.S. President Donald Trump took a jab at Canada.
They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
This also comes after Prime Minister Carney spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage and urging middle-power countries to act together. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on President Trump's speech.
Premier Doug Ford is not backing down on his concerns with the new trade deal between Canada and China. The federal government has pledged to slash tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese EVs each year. The premier has called it a terrible deal and said that it would come at the expense of Canadian workers and the Ontario auto industry. He's calling on Canadians to not buy them when it comes to the market.
You know, maybe a few people might buy them, and I discourage anyone from buying a Chinese vehicle. But if they decide to do that, at what cost? Is it at the cost to your neighbor down the street that's working in the auto sector that he's not going to have or she's not going to have a job? You got to look at more of a Team Canada approach.
Canada had been imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs since 2024 in lockstep with the United States. Ford plans to sit down with Carney and other premiers next week.
If the latest issue with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, and Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax.
Well, TikTok has been given more time to keep its doors open right here in Canada. A federal court judge has shelved an order for TikTok to shut down its Canadian operations. The court is asking the industry minister to hold a new review in 2024. The federal government ordered TikTok out of Canada, but didn't put a ban on the app.
TikTok Canada welcomed the decision, saying it will work with the minister. Oh, fears looming for so many people if TikTok goes away.
Yeah, and you know, and we have so many people that come on our show or that we've seen, we've done stories on where TikTok has elevated their business, especially during difficult times. And a lot rely on TikTok, you know, obviously security reasons. It's a whole world of discussion, but good for some businesses that really rely on the app.
Yeah, absolutely. But it would be nice to get some of my life back of doom scrolling on TikTok.
It's amazing how you just, little windows. I always say, like, you know, you went down a tunnel.
Yeah, like just 5 minutes, an hour later goes by.
Whole 30, 40 minutes.
We're seeing some scattered flurries in the forecast today. Risk of snow squalls into the afternoon, and then this weekend it's going to be bitter cold. Right now we're sitting at -3, getting to see a little bit of that sunshine. -1 in Montreal, Cornwall, -2 now in Brockville. So temperatures have dropped a little bit this hour. -11 out in the valley. We are expecting some scattered flurries kind of off and on throughout the day ahead, mainly later on this afternoon. So enjoy the sunshine we will see throughout your morning hours. 2 upwards of 4 centimeters of snow is what we could see throughout your day ahead. Now blowing snow will be a big factor, especially later on this afternoon as we're seeing these more intense winds. So we're going to see southwest winds today gusting 20 up to 50 kilometers an hour, and mainly from 1 o'clock onward. So that's when we could see a risk of these snow squalls. Blowing snow also a factor, especially on that commute home and later on this evening. Now wind speeds will come down into our overnight and be much calmer throughout our day as we head into tomorrow. Temperature right now, we're at our daytime highs, so we're only going to get a little bit cooler into the afternoon. -3 is where temperatures will hover throughout most of the day, dropping to about -5 by late this afternoon. So temperatures will just continue to drop into your day ahead. We'll feel closer to -10 throughout most of the afternoon today. -6, it will actually warm up in the valley, so normal for the valley. They'll warm up from -11 to -6 into the afternoon. -14 is the low for tonight, and then we have some bitter cold temps on the way. -13, your high for tomorrow, then overnight dropping all the way down to almost -30. Beautiful and sunny and through the weekend. However, not warming conditions up. Temperatures reaching daytime highs of -18 Saturday, Sunday, -30 is the overnight low as we head into Saturday, and the cold temperatures are going to stick around right through until the end of next week.
Ooh, just like that, needing to bundle up in full force over the next several days. Taking a look at the roads on your Thursday morning commute. We're going to focus on the eastbound on the 417, seeing some buildup beginning at Moody until Woodruff. Heading west on the Queensway, also seeing some congestion starting at the 174 split until Nicholas. Westbound on the 174, slowdowns at 10th line until Montreal Road. Now, most of the highways are clear at this time. Still some side streets that need some work. So if you are leaving, leave yourself a little bit of extra time. And if you're taking any public service this morning, OC Transpo with the O Train Line 1 starting to see some delays. And with the shortage of buses, just make sure you leave yourself extra time as there might not be enough room for you and you got to wait for the next one.
Traffic brought to you by Presler Injury Lawyers. 1-800-JUSTICE.
If you've been dreaming about buying your first home, well, this segment is for you. You could save tens of thousands of dollars as a first-time home buyer. Taylor Bennett from the Bennett Property Shop is here to break it all down and show us some real examples of new homes right here in the city. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Melissa.
Okay, this is a great segment, especially for those first-time home buyers.
First-time home buyers or mom and dad who might want to help their son or daughter buy their first home as well. Or, you know, people think first-time home buyers, they think maybe they're going to be younger buyers, but it's really anybody that hasn't owned a home in 4 years. So maybe you've been in the renting game for a while, or you just haven't owned a home in the last 4 years. You could re-qualify as a first-time home buyer.
Oh, I love that.
And take advantage of some of these
things. So
things.
let's talk about who qualifies as a first-time home buyer, as you just mentioned.
So, 4 years, you can't have owned a house. You have to be at least 18 years old, a Canadian resident, and to qualify for these benefits as well, you have to make sure it's your primary residence. So it can't be an investment property that you're picking up there. But as we'll go through, there's a couple of provincial and federal reductions on that price that can make things a little more affordable for you.
All right, wonderful. Let's move on and talk about some of those rebates. Federal GST rebate.
So this one's in place right now. It's a 5% rebate for first-time home buyers, and it's for any type of home, new home or a pre-built home. Now, in terms of the rules, it's basically anything under $1 million, rather. So if it's under $1 million, you can qualify for that 5% off, and it's real cash in your pocket. If it's over $1 million, which I don't think a lot of first-time home buyers will be buying that, but in the case that you would be, there is a reduction on that rebate up from $1 million to $1.5 million on there. Now, in terms of the forms, we've got a nice little guide here. So if you're buying a $600,000 property, you're getting $30,000 off that home, so your price effectively goes down to $570,000. So instant savings for you right away, making that barrier of entry a little bit lower, a little bit easier. And $600,000, there's a lot of townhouses here in Ottawa that you could pick up for around that amount.
So that's a great rebate to take advantage of. Let's talk about the Ontario HST new home rebate.
Yes, this is for new homes only, so if you're buying from a builder directly, and it's proposed at the moment. Now, there's all hints that it's probably going to be passed, but again, it's still proposed. Should it be passed, you're looking at an 8% reduction for this, which is a huge reduction on there. Now, for new homes, the same kind of price points to qualify.
Okay.
So if you're at $1 million, it doesn't not the full 8%.
Yeah.
But again, you can see here the full savings on there. You're looking at almost $80,000 savings on that $60,000 home. So huge savings there. Again, really reducing that barrier of entry even lower on there.
And this would be with the federal GST and then the HST as well.
Correct. Both of those two levels there. You can see that big savings, and that can be used either put back down into your down payment. You can use it to improve your house. You can just put the money into savings, whatever you need to do. So it's just money that's there. Exactly. And as first-time home buyers, you're trying to scrape up with quite a bit of money here and there. So it's nice to have that savings instantly. Again, the Ontario one's only for newly constructed homes. The federal one is for any home.
Okay, wow, that's some great money to be saved.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, now let's talk about how people can claim these and next steps.
Yes, so in terms of claiming, you want to make sure who's making the claim. Now, if you're buying from a builder directly, it's often the builder will fill out those forms for you and make that claim. And in fact, actually, the price you may see in their advertisements might already reflect that rebate. So you want to make sure you ask those questions to the builder. Not all builders operate the same way, however. Now, if it's yourself, you typically want to talk to your bank, want to talk to your lawyer. Who's the one that's going to be applying for it? It might have to be yourself. There's forms online you can download. It's quite easily. Keep all the documents from your purchase, so your purchase and sale agreement, maybe your MLS agreement that's on there as well too. You want to keep all the documentation there. Keep that for a couple of years in case things happen. The CRA wants to look at things, make sure they issue the right kind of rebate. You want to make sure you keep all those documents kind of safe there. But really important, who is the person that's actually going to be applying for it. So if you are buying from a builder, make sure you ask the builder rep that's on site from there.
And that's where Realtor can really help you out, so they can help you with all.
Absolutely, and there's other advantages too. We just didn't have the time to get into it, where you can do TFSAs, you can draw off your RSP for money as well too. So there's other things that make things a little bit easier in terms of buying that first house. If you are a first-time home buyer, you have some questions, reach out to a professional realtor. You can reach out to your lawyers as well too. A lot of information online, but we'd be happy to help you out. I've helped a lot of first-time home buyers buy that first house, and it's so liberation, freedom-wise, economical-wise, in terms of buying that first home, how the world looks at you and all the opportunities that are open buying that first home.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for breaking it all down for us today.
Of course, anytime.
And don't forget, you can listen to the Bennett Real Estate and Wealth Show with Marnie Bennett on Saturdays at 1 p.m. only on 580 CFRA. And coming up just after the break, Will had the chance to test some innovative technology, that allows horseback riders to experience realistic horse movement. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. We'll be catching up with him to find out how he did. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam this morning. Temperatures not so bad right now, sitting at -3. We could see a risk of snow squalls into the late afternoon.
The most important part of any journey is to arrive safely. Hi, I'm Patricia Bowl.
And I'm Stefan Keys from CTV. Distracted or impaired driving can have devastating consequences.
Hey, it's Ashley.
And Gord from Ottawa's Pure Country 94.
Always plan for a designated driver, and please keep your phone down.
Everyone can help keep communities safe.
Drive safe. Brought to you by the Ottawa Safety Council. For more information on road safety programs and services, visit ottawasafetycouncil.ca.
All right, so I headed to Beckwith to get to experience Eastern Ontario's only mechanical horse ride simulator. And if that wasn't enough for you to be intrigued to watch it, I don't know what is. All right, we are in Beckwith today, and we're going to do something really special, and we're going to take my very minimal expertise that I have on the subject, and we're going to apply it towards today. Jillian joins me now. Good morning to you.
Hi, nice to see you, Will.
This is so great. I actually think that my sister should be doing this segment because she's a professional horse rider, let's call it. But what are we staring at right now? Because what you have here is really special.
Yes, so this is a Racewood horse simulator. They are built in the UK, and they are mechanical horses that riders use, like a flight simulator for pilots, and we could use it to improve how riders ride and their balance and confidence in the saddle.
And it's so great too because, this is so great for getting a little bit of practice in, but it's also great for the horses too because it puts a little bit less miles on the actual horse and you can spend more time on something like this.
Absolutely. So we can work on the rider's balance, movements. We can repeat the movement over and over again, and without the wear and tear on the real horse. So it's fantastic for horse welfare. There we go.
Okay, like that.
Your official rider. I'll come and do the same on the other side.
And also, what are we calling the horse?
Her name is Tess.
Okay, I was going to say Tess. She definitely has a name.
She has a name.
Be nice to meet Tess.
So we're going to calibrate the saddle for you. Oh, and you started her on your own.
How did I do that?
So you found one of the sensors? So you found the sensors. I didn't even get to that part.
Got it.
The leg sensors are...
They're right over here, which is what my foot was hitting.
Exactly.
Got it.
So just like if you're riding a real horse, if you squeeze,
Yep.
the horse will go forward.
This is why we test on this, because if I was on the horse, I was gone.
There we go. We're at the collected walk. So you can see on the screen it says collected walk.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to practice some steering, if you put a little bit of pressure on your right rein, you'll see your head and neck start to go to the right on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then the same thing, if you wanted her to go a little bit to the left, then we would ask her with a little bit of left rein.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I've already much improved since my first time in the last 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Not bad. My sister, she's going to see this.
Yeah.
Making you proud.
Okay, and I think we're ready for a little canter.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Let's do it. Yeah, hold on. Oh, God. There we go.
Oh, and you're doing fancy flying changes already. You're finding the sensors left, right, and center.
Is that good or bad?
You're moving from one lead to another. So horse people will know what that means, that the horse will be going from their right lead to their left lead, depending on what direction they're going. You're doing it.
There we go. You know what? I think this is so great. And if I can do this, you can do this. If people are looking to maybe schedule in with you, what is the best option? How should they find you? Because I'm already having a blast.
Yep, so you can find me on my website, or I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm always happy to set up an appointment for anybody to come and work with me and Tess.
I love that. Well, Tess, come on, we're going to keep going. Here we go. You enjoy that?
That was what we like to call gold in television world. That was amazing. I was trying not to hold back the tears of laughter with you, though. We're laughing together.
And you know, my camera operator, James Fish, he did it too, and he decided to leave himself out of that and just put me front and center.
I love how you just got on the horse and you were like full tilt right away. She's like, well, you're supposed to learn how to walk before you ride.
Yeah, we were supposed to calibrate it, but I kept hitting the sensor on the side on the third one, so it started right away. And the horse's name, I can't remember if it was mentioned there, but Tess. So Tess, thank you for bearing with me during that segment.
That was cool. What a great thing to do. So much fun.
Oh, all right. Let's take a peek outside where you will not see me riding a horse for quite some time. I think I've done my due diligence for the entire year. Our Centennial Glass Sky Cam showing some cloud out there and mild temperatures before the freeze begins. Melissa and I will be right back on your Thursday.
One milestone celebration on this Thursday, January 2nd. We have a happy 5th birthday, and this is going out to Noah. Love, Mommy, Daddy, Mia, Haley, Papa, and Nana. And if you have a milestone celebrated with us, send your birthday announcements for kids turning 13 years old or younger, and for those turning 100 years and more, and wedding anniversaries for those celebrating 50 years or more. All you have to do is send us an email, your morning Ottawa milestones at ctv.ca. We'll be sure to get your announcement on the air. And coming up in the next hour, getting in a workout doesn't have to break the bank. Personal trainer Monandit Nasser joins us to show us how you can use everyday household items to get your workout in. And of course, the winter market at Robert Plant Greenhouses is back for the 3rd year. We tell you what you can expect at this year's edition. And we introduce you to a new cafe in Hintonburg that blends beautiful drinks with authentic Indian street food. Here's a live look through our Skycam this morning, and not a bad looking start to your days. Trying to see a little bit of sunshine right now, but we could see snow squalls late this afternoon. What makes your community special? Join us next week for Your Neighborhood, showcasing the people and places that make the National Capital Region shine.
Your Neighborhood on CTV Your Morning Ottawa. Brought to you in part by the Clemo. Choose the Clemo and start living your life your way.
It's Thursday, January 22nd.
And some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train. And that's not acceptable.
How the latest issue on Ottawa's light rail system is impacting service and what you can expect on your morning commute.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on camera how the shop's owners and neighbors are reacting.
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home, and I cannot remember for the life of my only child the answer to your question.
And the Oscar nominations are almost here. We get reaction as we learn who's up for awards on the biggest night in movies. Your Morning Ottawa continues right now. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. I am Will Aiello.
I'm Melissa Lamb, and Rosie is away for today.
She's away today, maybe somewhere a little bit cooler, maybe somewhere a little bit warmer. What I can tell you is if you're going to be in the capital city over the next week or so and you have any plans to be outdoors, you need all of the gear.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting out the warm hats, the warm mitts with the heaters inside. You will need them as we head into the weekend. It is going to be quite cold, but good news for Winterlude and building the ice sculptures and really the foundation for Winterlude. We need these cold temps, so it's not bad news for everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect timing for that, as well as the outdoor rinks for the canal. I don't see it temporarily closing for any warm temperatures over the next little while.
Absolutely.
All right, right to our news headlines, and we're starting with public transit. A new problem with the LRT has transit users once again taking a backseat to repairs. OC Transpo says some cars will have to be taken out of service immediately, which will greatly impact Line 1. OC Transpo says the problem is happening inside a wheel component. They said that it's called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge bearing can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure.
At those peak times, there's going to be an impact in terms of the capacity, and that's why we're here to talk to our customers about, the fact that, the platforms will be busier at those key times. They will see a combination of single and double car trains, and some customers may have to wait for a second train. They may not be able to access the first train, and that's not acceptable. I appreciate that our customers will, I think frustrating is maybe putting it mildly. I think our customers will be upset with this.
OC Transpo says it is too early to say when the cars are going to be put back into service. And as for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says that is going to be monitored, but the system is already down a significant number of buses. Councillor Tim Tierney tells us on Your Morning Ottawa that he's concerned that this might mean a delay in launching the east extension of the LRT.
If we don't see that extension come online, we're already short buses. We're losing them one by one by one. Well, that line opening would have helped us on the bus situation.
Officials are hopeful that the East End line will open this spring.
And if the latest issues with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, and Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax.
The proposed high-speed rail along the Toronto City to the Quebec City corridor could one day reshape how Canadians travel, but many are asking the question, at what cost? Starting this week, public information sessions are giving residents the chance to raise concerns, ask some questions, and weigh in on the project's potential future. Construction on the first section between Ottawa and Montreal could start as early as 2029 and could open around 2037.
I was just really curious how they're going to try and stick handle around some of the issues of construction.
We need to design for all users, and that includes not just the human users. We need to make sure that the corridor includes wildlife crossings.
It would change the way that people can kind of do business, I think, at least in Eastern Canada.
Tremblay Station, the current Via Rail station located southeast of downtown Ottawa, and the city's original downtown Union Station have been floated as possible locations for the capital's high-speed terminal.
A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on security cameras, renewing concerns about safety for small businesses in the area.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Beans and Barrels manager Nandini Opade says roughly $1,500 was stolen after two individuals were seen on camera ripping the till from the computer before taking off with the cash inside. She says it happened Tuesday morning just before 6 a.m. after they gained access through the front door. The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market close, some citing safety concerns. The cafe says it hopes to reopen by the weekend. A Manitoba livestock auctioneer is betting on himself, hoping to become a world champion.
Pounds, here we go. All right, let's have a sale. How much here?
36-year-old Brennan Jack is usually selling cattle, but in June he will be selling himself at the World Livestock Auctioneer Championships in South Dakota.
This will be the 11th time Brennan has competed. He's a regular top 10 finisher, but this time he hopes to claim that world title. That's a tough job. I mean, and they are good at it, having just been at, local events, and you usually have an auctioneer to help raffle items, and they're good.
They are very good, and it's amazing what they can see from what you might get to when you have like a professional step in, and then they just have like this power. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and cattle auctioneer is a whole other level.
Yeah, it's way out of my knowledge zone.
Whenever I'm emceeing an event, I always hope that they've hired an auctioneer, because I just don't love that part of the job.
Yeah, it's a very different part of the job that we do, right?
Yeah, I'm not good at it either.
No, and you're not good with the cold either.
Oh no, lots of things I'm not great at.
Whoa! You take that back. Don't talk about my friend like that.
Oh, we've already surpassed our daytime high. We were at -2 really early this morning. We've actually dropped a little bit so far. So average temperatures for this time of the year is around -6 degrees. We'll kind of hover there into the afternoon, slightly warmer. The sun is up and will set just before 5 p.m. later on today, and we should be getting about 50 extra minutes of sunshine by the end of the month, which is always nice to see. Sitting at -4 here this hour, so we have dropped. We were sitting at -2 originally this morning, still a little colder in the valley, sitting at -12, but at least we're getting to see some sunshine to start off your Thursday. We will see cloudy conditions throughout most of the day today. There is a chance of these scattered flurries kind of off and on throughout the afternoon, mainly later on this afternoon, and we could see upwards of 2 to 4 centimeters of snow. Blowing snow also a factor throughout the day ahead, as we're expecting these stronger winds gusting out of the southwest up to 50 kilometers an hour today. So you could see stronger winds mainly this afternoon from 1 o'clock onward till about 9, 10 o'clock tonight. That's when we will see these stronger winds. So blowing snow could be a factor late this afternoon, especially on that commute home. Snow squalls as well. There is a risk we could see some snow squalls throughout the late part of your afternoon. Temperatures into your day ahead, kind of sitting where we're sitting right now. We're sitting at -3. We've dropped to -4. We'll kind of hover around there throughout the afternoon. We'll feel closer to -10 with that wind chill. It will warm up, however, in the valley, so kind of odd temperatures throughout the day ahead. -6 is where temperatures will warm up to if you're out in the valley for today. So we've already surpassed our daytime high, which is -2. That's where we were sitting early this morning into the afternoon. 2 upwards of 4 centimeters of snow, and you need all the warm winter gear out of the closet today and throughout the weekend, and that's because it's going to get quite cold, especially those overnight lows. -14 for tonight. Tomorrow, your daytime high -13. Overnight dropping to -29. As we head in through the weekend, it will be nice and sunny, but bitter cold conditions on the way. -18 for Saturday, Sunday. Overnight dropping to -30 Saturday, so very cold Saturday, especially in through the overnight. And this is without the wind chill. Factor in the wind chill, it could feel up to the -35, -37 in through the overnight. And then even next week, temperatures staying into the minus double digits. So we do have a cold week in store for us. On your drive in right now, here's a live look at your time saver traffic, and no collisions to report, which is great news on the roads this morning, but we are seeing some trouble spots right now on your highways. Eastbound 417 build up beginning at Moody and through Bronson, heading west in the Queensway, congestion at Hunt Club and through Nicholas, and westbound slowdowns 174 10th line in through Montreal Road. And getting in a workout doesn't have to break the bank. Personal trainer Monadi Nasser joins us to show us how you can use everyday household items to get your workout in. And she's standing by in the Your Morning Ottawa Lazy Boy Lounge, and Will is there, and I think he's doing some cleans. Is that what those are called in the CrossFit world? I'll have to find out more. We'll have that conversation coming up next. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam this morning. A bit of sunshine on your Thursday. Temps right now sitting at -4. Good morning, Ottawa. It is 8:11.
Today's snow report brought to you by Mont Cascade, only 20 minutes from Ottawa.
All right, we have seen plenty of snowfall over the last couple of days, which is excellent news for the ski hills. We're kicking it off with Mont Cascade. 3 of 6 lifts open. We are over 14 runs, 15 of 21. Why don't we take a look at the rest of the crew, shall we? Calwogie Peaks looking very good. Vorlage 100% on the lifts, runs just over halfway. Camp Fortune looking good. Edelweiss 2 of 5. It is going to be extremely cold this morning. So if you're planning to hit the lifts this weekend, just make sure to bundle up.
Your best runs begin at Mont Cascade. Large learning area, varied terrain. We've got everything you need to improve your skills. High quality rentals, great instructors, and fun times. Come join us at Mont Cascade.
Okay, we're grateful to have Monadi join us this morning, and especially for me. We're continuing with our Beat the Bills segment, and this was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember being at our family cottage, and it's like, I want to get in a workout.
Yeah.
So I'm starting walking around, grabbing different items from the cottage, and my mom's looking at me like, what are you doing? You look so dumb. And I'm like, no, this is a real thing, and you're going to show us with some household items how we can get that workout in.
Amazing, yes. So we have a bunch of equipment today, or items that you can find in your home. We are going to start with the backpack.
Love it.
I am going to get you to do some squats.
Okay.
So it's already loaded. There's a little bit of weight in here, so it's going to be nice and heavy. What's great about the backpack is that you can add as much stuff in here as you want, or as little, so you can really like choose your own adventure.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, it's got
What
a
do you
little bit of weight.
here? Any some snacks for after I'm done?
We have some more items that we're going to use. No snacks though.
No snacks?
No reward. We just play. We just work here.
2026 is all about just hard work.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, you can adjust the handles to make sure it feels good.
Yeah.
From here, our legs, we're about shoulder width apart. We are pushing the hips back and going into a nice seated position.
And we hope that the pants don't rip today, but if you see it, you'll see it live.
That's some tea. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so perfect. So we're going to go down into a squat. Oh my God, no.
And they literally ripped. I'm not even kidding you.
I heard it. I swear to God, I thought that was like something else. That's so funny.
You have to see at least a little bit. Look at that. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, the squats work, but the pants don't.
No, definitely get some spandexy like leggings or pants or something, because this fit ain't it. Oh my God.
Okay, so if the squats, we've done a good, 5 to 10 reps. What are some of the other movements we can do?
So we can take the backpack off, just to be safe, okay?
That is hilarious.
We'll stick to some upper body, okay, for the rest of the segment here.
Okay.
I actually have some equipment right in here. This is hilarious. Okay, so we got laundry detergent, okay?
Okay.
So this one is really nice because usually the jugs will come with handles.
Okay.
So we're gonna go into some bent over rows. So if you've never done them, I love this.
Friends to the rescue. There you go, my friend.
So maybe we can do some more lower
Safety
body, you know?
first.
There we go.
Oh
Okay, we're good.
yeah, we're so good. That was awesome. That's great. I love that. Okay, so now we can move into our rows, nice and comfy. So I'm gonna get you to hold perfect.
Okay.
So we're gonna take a bit of a staggered stance here. So your left
I'm so
leg,
free now.
your left leg is actually gonna come in the front.
Oh, yep.
Right leg in the back. Your hand is gonna go to your hip, and then you're gonna do a slight hip hinge. So you're gonna push your hips back, nice bend in the knees, and then from here, a nice neutral spine. You're gonna lift that detergent up, beautiful, and then you're gonna bring it back down, lift it up, bring it back down, keep your elbow tucked in. You can feel your back work in here, and then once you do your 8 to 12 reps on one arm, you can switch sides and do the other. Exactly, what a pro.
And I love
yes.
it too, right? Because what you can do is you can just do some more reps with the lower weight.
100%.
This is actually not bad. This is pretty heavy too.
It's pretty heavy, but yeah, you do more reps, and you'll feel the burn for sure.
If you're just tuning in, I ripped my pants completely, which is why this is on. If you're just joining us now.
I was gonna ask for a picture after, but Actually, maybe this will
All
be
right,
great.
let's do one more.
All right, one more. So we have some cans of soup or beans, whatever you have will work. This is gonna be a shoulder movement, so I'm gonna get you to hold the cans with your palms out like this. We're gonna do some front raises with our palms out. So we're gonna go up like this. Yeah, and then we're gonna bring in the cans with our arms and kind of create a nice like W. And we're just gonna go out and then bring it in nice and slow. What's really nice about this movement is because it's so isolated to the shoulder, you don't need a ton of weight to really feel that burn. So a lot of reps of this, nice slow tempo, you're gonna really feel it nice.
And you don't know this, but Chef Boyardee, these mini rolls are something that I lived off as a kid. So this is a double nostalgia win for me. I think it's so great, right? Because you can pick what you want. You can get, you know, it doesn't have to be the greatest workout of all time, but you can get what you need to and save some money with all these household items.
Oh, 100%.
We really appreciate you coming in and describing some of this. If people want to get a hold of you for maybe some more tips, how would they find you?
So I have a website, www.manattifitness.com, or through my Instagram at manattifitness. I'm a personal trainer, so yeah.
And do you know a good tailor?
My mom.
Perfect. All right, we're going to be reaching out too because, man, did I ever rip these pants. Well, coming up, we are heading to the winter market. We are there with Robert Plant Greenhouses, and they always have the best setup. If you're looking to spice up this winter, you want to check this out. Melissa is going to be joining them. I got to go change my pants. I'll be right back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bringing over 150 vendors, the winter market at Robert Plant Greenhouses returns for its third year. And today we are beginning with Colin Matassa for today's live local shopping spree. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's so great to have you back, especially when it's so cold outside. I can think of the nice tropical warm plants in the greenhouse.
Yes, absolutely. We're super excited. This weekend is our third annual winter market.
Yeah.
So we have over 150 different local vendors all inside of our warm tropical greenhouses. So it's the perfect excuse to get out of this freezing cold this weekend and come inside.
We think winter market outdoors, but no, you're bringing us into the tropics,
exactly. If
right?
you haven't been there before, we're open all year round and it's full of tropical plants, house plants. It's like going on a vacation down south, but you don't have to leave the city.
You even have that like moist, warm air, which is so beautiful.
Absolutely. And we have over 150 different local vendors. So everything you can think of, from baked goods, food, drinks, honey, maple syrup, clothing, jewelry, everything you can possibly think of.
And of course, some plants as well.
Absolutely. Wintertime is a great time to add some beautiful house plants to your space. We've got tons of different plants, including little Valentine's Day arrangements. That's coming up soon.
So cute.
And all sorts of tropical plants, including really, really big ones as well.
Okay. And the nice thing is you can come and I can say, hey, I want something for this spot in my house, and you can help us pick
Absolutely. We have
plant.
over 100,000 different house plants, so there's something for everyone.
Something for everyone. All right, you have some of the vendors here today, and I'm very excited to learn more. We have Irma here with an adjustable barbecue scraper. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
Absolutely. So it's adjustable barbecue scraper. It's safe and it's bristle free.
I love that.
So I'd like to give you a demo on
I would love to see how this works.
How to see it work. So basically, it's a pretty simple concept, and you just align it to the grill grates.
Okay.
And adjust it to your exact grill grate.
So cool.
Once you have it adjusted, you can lock it in.
Incredible.
So now you have a customized scraper to fit your grill. The bonus is that it has deep grooves, so not only does it clean the top of the grill, but also the sides.
Okay.
So when you clean it, you just press down slightly.
Yeah.
And clean your grate.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So there's a couple features that is really great on this. So the blades will last about a year and a half if you barbecue once or twice a week, and then you can reverse them.
Oh, so you can just flip it around.
Yeah, so you can. So it, and it extends the life of the blades.
Okay, and then you can just buy the refills cartridges when you're done.
And I also have the replacement refills as well.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Up next, we have Natalie here from Nat's Bread Company. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
There's nothing like fresh baked bread in the dead of winter, right?
Yeah,
That's so
I agree.
warm and comforting. Tell us a bit about your business.
So we're a local wholesale bakery. We sell to a lot of different businesses throughout the city, but we're also quite known for our market presence. We do a lot of farmers markets in the summertime, and we've been at the Robert Plant Markets for the past few years, all of the ones that they do. We really love the winter one because, just like you said, it's so nice to be inside somewhere warm.
Right, and it really does feel like you are on a down south vacation. We used to escape there sometimes when it's really cold out, which is this weekend. Tell us about some of the loaves you brought here today.
Yeah, so these are some of our fan favorites that we'll be bringing to the market this weekend. We have our chocolate babka, which is back. We usually do it at Christmas, but we're offering it again for Valentine's Day. Instead of a box of chocolates, why not some chocolate with carbs to warm you up?
I love that.
We also have our heart-shaped pretzels, exactly like our regular fan favorites, but we've done them heart-shaped for Valentine's Day.
So cute. This is adorable.
Chocolate cranberry sourdough loaf, again, a Valentine's special. And then one of our perennial favorites is our seeded sourdough, which is available all year round, but we do lots of sourdoughs. Seeded is one of the more popular ones.
And sourdough is like a labor of love, right?
Yes.
Like it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of effort that goes into sourdough, but there's nothing like it when you get to eat it. And there's gut health inside,
Exactly.
which is great.
It's a healthier option for you if you're looking to be a conscious carb eater.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. And again, you can head to Robert Plant this weekend for their indoor winter market. Don't be fooled by winter market because it is indoor, friends, and it's the best place to be on a cold winter's day like what we are expecting this weekend. And coming up shortly on Your Morning Ottawa, the Oscar nominations will be announced momentarily. We will get reaction from Ottawa Life magazine film critic Keith Whittier. He'll be joining us shortly.
What makes your community special? Join us next week for Your Neighborhood, showcasing all the people and places that help make the National Capital Region shine.
Your Neighborhood on CTV Your Morning Ottawa. Brought to you in part by the Clemo. Choose the Clemo and start living your life your way.
Happy Little Friday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. I'm Melissa Lamb.
I'm Will Aiello.
With a new pair of pants, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, yes, he has changed his clothes. And why is that, my friend?
Yeah, so I probably should have known this because I've done it once before, but we did a little fitness segment. And going out into the squat, I not only just ripped like the inseam, the entire pant just ripped all the way down.
Like almost down to your ankle.
Yeah, like I could immediately feel the breeze from the AC or the heat or whatever's going on in our building right up, and I went, oh, that's not going to be fixable.
No,
so we went with
not.
We went with a new pair.
We went with a new pair, and now we have to say goodbye to the full suit.
And I really like this suit.
I know, it's a good suit.
It was a tough loss.
We're going to have to try and find a matching pair somehow.
I know. I'll have to email. You know what? If I send the clip to the place in Kitchener where I got it,
the tailor,
maybe they'll give me some love.
Maybe can you turn it into shorts?
I probably could. A suit short. Oh boy, we're going to preserve them as much as we can. All right, let's get to our news headlines, and we're starting with public transit. An Ottawa City Councillor says the latest issue on the O train is a challenge for many customers, but he's encouraged that new leadership is being transparent about the issues.
I'll give kudos to Troy Charter. He is a far better GM, acting GM, than the previous one. When you look at Glenn Gower, the chair of transit, they're definitely getting the information out there. We have to keep people moving. We have to do it safely.
So this comes as the agency has now identified a new problem with the O train that is likely to cause major headaches for transit users. Wheel assembly issues have forced OC Transpo to reduce the number of cars in service. Officials are warning that starting immediately, you might have to wait for another train because there isn't enough room on the first one.
For most times of the day, the capacity on the line is there and will be sufficient, but we know those peak periods, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on our customers, and we'll be watching closely. We'll make adjustments where we can, and we'll be pushing RTG to get us as many vehicles as possible.
This is because vehicles with more than 100,000 kilometers are being pulled from service because flakes were breaking off the surface of the LRT vehicle's cartridge bearing. The problem is called spalling, meaning small pits on the cartridge can grow over time, and if it isn't fixed, it can lead to cracks or even failure. OC Transpo wants trains to keep running every 4 to 5 minutes, So to do that, they're going to be running a mix of single and double car trains. But as for the replacement buses that generally run when the O train is down, OC Transpo says it's going to be monitored, but since the system is already down significant amount of buses, it might not be feasible.
The head of NATO says that a framework deal on Greenland is more about security than sovereignty.
The United States is an Arctic country because of Alaska. And of course, Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway. How can we make sure that these countries collectively make sure that the Arctic stays safe?
We don't know much about the framework of a future deal announced by U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the issue of Greenland sovereignty didn't come up during his meeting with President Trump. Denmark's Prime Minister also maintains her country can talk security and investment, but sovereignty is a non-negotiable. Prime Minister Mark Carney will gather his cabinet in Quebec City today. The meeting comes just one day after leaving Davos, after hours after U.S. President Donald Trump took a jab at Canada.
They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
This also comes after Prime Minister Carney spoke in the same room at the World Economic Forum, criticizing superpowers that use tariffs as leverage and urging middle-power countries to act together. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office told CTV News there are no plans to comment on President Trump's speech.
Premier Doug Ford is not backing down on his concerns with the new trade deal between Canada and China. The federal government has pledged to slash tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese EVs each year. The premier has called it a terrible deal and said that it would come at the cost of Canadian workers and the Ontario auto industry. He's calling on Canadians not to buy them when they come to market.
You know, maybe a few people might buy them, and I discourage anyone from buying a Chinese vehicle. But if they decide to do that, at what cost? Is it at the cost to your neighbor down the street that's working in the auto sector, that he's not going to have or she's not going to have a job? You got to look at more of a Team Canada approach.
Canada had been imposing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs since 2024. In lockstep with the United States, Ford plans to sit down with Carney and other premiers next week.
If the latest issue with light rail is making you consider hopping back behind the wheel, it could add to an already worsening traffic issue.
It's awful. I try to take the Queensway, but it's a mess most times.
According to new data from mapping company TomTom, overall, the Wednesday commute at 4 p.m. is the worst, and Tuesday and Thursday aren't much better. Motorists can expect a 10-kilometer trip to take nearly 30 minutes.
And particularly with the bus services and subways not running properly, right? People are nervous to take them, so therefore more cars on the street, right?
Ottawa ranks 7th for congestion in Canada, behind Vancouver, Toronto, and Halifax. A break-in at a Byward Market Cafe caught on security cameras, renewing concerns about safety for small businesses in the area.
It does impact our mental health in a day that, oh, we're not safe at the end of the day.
Beans and Barrels manager Nandini Upade says roughly $1,500 was stolen from two individuals were seen on camera ripping the till from the computer before taking off with cash inside. She says it happened Tuesday morning just before 6 a.m. after they gained access to the front door. The break-in comes as the past year has seen a number of businesses in the Byward Market close, some citing safety concerns. The cafe says it hopes to reopen by the weekend.
Well, a Danish artist has crafted a number of large wooden trolls now on display at the North Carolina Arboretum.
I think it's unique that they are all made out of wood and that somebody takes the time to put the pieces of wood together and hammer them and sit there for hours and do that.
The exhibition is called Trolls, a Field Study. The 12 interactive sculptures are all at least 2 meters tall. They're all crafted by hand and are meant to reveal a fresh perspective, what makes us human.
It's like beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. Stunning works of art.
And it's so nice too when you get like the young, like look how like the kiddos are all involved in there and very excited about it. Nice outside, probably looks a little bit warmer than it might be here, especially over the next couple of days.
Just a tad. No snow I noticed as well. So
yeah,
usually a good indication of that it's not
as cold as we are seeing.
Covered in snow, covered in cold. That's what we can expect over the next few days, but it is that time of year.
Absolutely. The good news is this is great weather for Winterlude. We know they're getting ready to open next weekend. Not this weekend, weekend after. But these cold conditions are great for ice sculptures, great for them to like build the tunnels and the sleds and everything. So the slides.
It's kind of perfect timing because it's cold right now before it opens. And then as it opens next weekend, it's still going to be a little bit cool, but nothing compared to what we're seeing. You know, it's cut in half. So it's actually it's perfect for those activities.
If we're going to have a cold snap, this is the perfect week to have a little bit of a cold snap.
There we go.
We could still see some flurries this morning. Risk of snow squalls, though, into the day ahead, especially later on this afternoon on that drive home. The weekend will be nice and sunny, but yes, bitter cold conditions on the way, especially Saturday and overnight Saturday. It's going to be quite chilly. We are sitting at -4 here. We were sitting at -2 earlier this morning, so we have dropped. Still cold in the valley, sitting at -12 this hour. We are getting to see a little bit of sunshine peeking behind those clouds this morning. We will see mix of sun and cloud today. Chance of scattered flurries kind of off and on throughout the afternoon, mainly later on this morning into your afternoon. We could see upwards of 4 centimeters of snow on the forecast for us. So yes, a little bit of accumulation, and blowing snow will also be a factor, especially later on this afternoon. Winds gusting out of the southwest up to 50 kilometers an hour, so 20 to 50 kilometers an hour, mainly this afternoon. This is around 3 p.m., so 1 p.m. is when we could start to see blowing snow or risk of snow squalls as well, just in time for that commute home. So the drive home could be reduced visibility because of the blowing snow, so keep that in mind. It will continue right through until about 9-10 o'clock tonight. That's when wind speeds will come down a little bit. It won't be so gusty into your early morning hours tomorrow. Temperatures today kind of hovering around -3, -4 throughout most of the afternoon. We'll still feel closer to -10. The valley will warm up to a daytime high of -6 late this afternoon. Gatineau sitting at -4 for today. -1 is where temperatures will hover into Montreal. So tonight dropping to -14. Then our daytime high tomorrow in the minus double digits. -13 for your daytime high. Chance of scattered flurries. Overnight dropping to -29. So the overnights are going to get very cold starting tomorrow night, continuing into Saturday. Beautiful and sunny and through your Saturday forecast, but yes, chilly. -18, your daytime highs both Saturday, Sunday, overnight dropping to -30. I think this is one of the first times we've seen those overnight lows in the -30s. As we head into next week, not nearly as cold as the weekend, but still very cold for this time of the year in the minus double digits for your daytime highs all week long, and overnight lows will be into the -20s.
Weather brought to you by Yeckendorf Rashid. Experience, knowledge, and a commitment to excellence.
And on your roads this morning, here's a live look at your time saver traffic, and we are dealing with that heavy volume now east to west this morning. We have no collisions, which is great news, but the right lane is closed northbound on Saint Laurent Boulevard at Smythe. There is actually a collision there that's just coming in. We also have another collision right now westbound 417 Richmond. It does have the left lane closed. We're seeing buildup beginning at Moody to Bronson on the eastbound 417, and heading west on the Queensway, still congestion at Hunt Club in through Nicholas this hour.
Well, the issue of gun violence in the Greater Toronto Area is worsening. That's leading some homeowners in that part of the province to invest in bulletproof glass. Here's CTV's Pat Thorne.
Following an increase in break-ins, Metalex Security Products developed rock glass, which it claims is 200 times stronger than regular glass. You can't break it with a baseball bat. After a rise in drive-by shootings and extortion attempts in the GTA, the company says it's developed bulletproof ballistic glass. Tom Reimer says there's a growing demand for it.
Will this stop a bullet?
Absolutely. Reimer says customers purchasing bulletproof glass for their homes have been victims of extortion attempts or are worried they could be.
What do? Are you going to move, or are you going to do something about it and you're going to be proactive? So that's where the ballistic comes in. And I hate to see it, but it's here. So we're heading into the gun range now.
We asked Rylan Morey at the Gagnon Shooting Center in Oshawa to fire at the bulletproof glass to see how it would handle the impact.
It is a 9mm pistol. It's a pretty fancy one, considering that it's not exactly what most of the criminals are carrying these days.
Once the bulletproof glass was put in position, Morey was ready to shoot. Then it was time to see how the ballistic glass held up.
Did it stop it? Sure did. I'm so happy that it's done what it's supposed to do. This is ballistic 9mm glass, 3/4 inch, retrofit. It hung into the frame, no movement there.
This does a more than a good job of stopping that for sure.
Now, this is something you hope you don't need.
No. But for some people in the community, it is something that they feel they need, and we're here to help out.
Outfitting a home with bulletproof glass could cost thousands of dollars, but Reimer says for some families or businesses, it may make them feel safer and give them peace of mind. Pat Foran, CTV News.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
Kicking it off with your Ottawa Black Bears coming up tomorrow night. It's Country Night at Canadian Tire Centre, presented by Pure Country 94. Your Black Bears are taking on the Vancouver Warriors, and the first 1,000 fans through the gates get a free bandana. So make sure you grab your tickets at ticketmaster.ca. Next on the list today is the Ring of Honor induction ceremony celebration, Sens game. Your Sens are taking on the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday, and before the game starts, Jacques Martin is being inducted into the Ring of Honor with a special ceremony. Jacques Martin is a pillar of the Ottawa Senators organization, and to this day continues to make a huge difference. Saturday also happens to be exactly 30 years to the day of his coaching debut with the Senators. So head to the CTC to help celebrate an absolute legend. And last on the list today is the annual Robert Plant Winter Market. This is Saturday between 9 and 4, and a really great opportunity to support local and enjoy a day of browsing and shopping, all while getting to know some vendors within our community. Dogs are also welcome, so feel free to bring the pup along for a special Saturday outing. As usual, lots more happening around the capital this weekend. The full list and all the details are at ctvottawa.ca/weekenders. For the iHeartRadio Weekenders, my name's Tanea Taylor. Have a great one.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
In the face of U.S. President Donald Trump's push to acquire Greenland, a new Canadian defense company setting up in Ottawa says it has the technology to help defend Canada's north. CTV's Dylan Dyson reports.
Whether by sea, air, land, or ice, Dominion Dynamics says it has the technology to keep watch over Canada's Arctic.
What we're looking for are anomalies in the environment. So whether that's drones or balloons in the sky, whether that's submarines underwater or under ice.
It does this by building sensor systems that can be placed in remote locations, which relays information to military decision makers.
We have underinvested in the Arctic for about a generation or two. We have some sense of what's happening up there.
A new defense and tech company, Dominion Dynamics, is set to open operations in Canada in March at this 25,000 square foot facility.
The city has, tons of defense tech knowledgeable domain experts, and we were deliberative about setting up a factory here because of that.
The new company is opening as Ottawa-Gatineau looks to position itself as Canada's defense innovation hub.
We have amazing companies that have world firsts, companies like Dominion Dynamics and MDA Space and Telesat that are going to be speaking about technologies and solutions developed here by talent here.
On Wednesday, U.S. President Donald Trump persisted with his plan to take control of Greenland for the purposes of international safety, claiming it also oversees Canada's safety.
They should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States.
Prime Minister Mark Carney suggesting Tuesday that Canada has the means to protect itself.
We're doubling our defense spending by the end of this decade, and we're doing so in ways that build our domestic industries.
The city of Ottawa could be on the technological front lines should that day come.
We are going to increase the readiness of our forces. We are going to lean in and we are going to build our economy. We are going to lean in and protect our sovereignty. That's the Arctic sovereignty.
In many ways, I think, Trump is saying something that most Canadians have known. We need to have, more independence.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
Well, the Oscar nominations are being announced as we speak. Right now, we're keeping a close eye on them. Movie reviewer Keith Whittier joins us this morning to talk about some of what we have so far and continuing over the next few minutes what we learned. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, this is happening over the last 10 minutes. We're getting the nominations in right now as we speak. I want to start with what we've received so far. We've got a snub going on.
Yeah, the big snub seems to be the complete rejection of Wicked for Good. Of course, last year, the first Wicked movie came out. It was extremely popular, had multiple nominations across the board. And it's a movie that, the second movie is a movie that I called somewhat unnecessary because it was just essentially a continuation. The play that it's based off of is like two and a half hours. Now we've got 5 hours of movie. Why, Will? So the Academy has pretty much rejected this film. We thought we'd see nominations for Ariana Grande, for Cynthia Erivo, perhaps for some of the technical stuff, but we're not seeing like the big Wicked reaction that we thought that we might.
And do you think, to your point right there, where you say like you took something that was already completed, but then you stretched it, do you think that could be a potential reason, or what would be your guesses at this point for this movie, because it's what everyone was talking about at the time?
Yeah, I think part of it is the fact that there were so many great films this year, and this movie, I think, was just looked upon as that, just somewhat unnecessary. We see a lot of times with films. We saw that with the Lord of the Rings series and different films where they get nominations year after year. It just didn't happen this year. I don't think that it's a poor movie. I just think there were so many films that deserved recognition above that one.
Okay, and then we'll go on the complete flip side and films that are receiving recognition, which are no surprise. We've got Sinners, and that one to you, it's right up there.
Absolutely. Thrilled to see Sinners nominated. We've seen they've been nominated for Best Picture, for Best Director. Michael B. Jordan got a nomination for his dual role. One of the big surprises this morning that a lot of people are going to wake up to is that Delroy Lindo was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He wasn't really in the conversation in terms of somebody that was going to be nominated, so it's great to see such a Hollywood veteran getting a nomination for this film. I don't have the exact total of nominations for Sinners so far, but it's looking like it's a good morning for the Sinners group.
Yeah, Sinners and One Battle After Another. I actually have yet to see this film. It's this weekend. It's going to be like freezing cold. I'm sitting down and I'm watching it, but it's receiving some nominations as we come into, and I've only heard rave reviews.
It's a phenomenal movie. Those movies to me are 1 and 2 for the best films of 2025. It's a great movie. You can watch it at home on Crave. One of the great things about this is Paul Thomas Anderson, the director of that movie, also getting some recognition, and this very well could be his year to get the Best Picture trophy. We've seen nominations for that film for Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, Leonardo DiCaprio nominated as well. So across the board, this was an extremely popular film, and I think it's going to do well on Oscar night.
God, like I feel like Leo just doesn't miss. You know, he's so good. And I've seen their tour where they were doing, you know, this kind of the interviews are replaying now with their tour, how they had such good chemistry. I want to talk about another one, Marty Supreme. What are your thoughts on that as things start to roll on?
Yeah, absolutely. Marty Supreme is an incredible film. I think that Timothy Chalamet seems to be the actor to beat in that category. Incredible performance, and to go back to back with his incredible role last year in A Complete Unknown, and to come back this year with that film. Both of the Safdie brothers made movies this year. Usually they work together. They went apart, and obviously Josh seems to be the one that's going to be, you know, with bragging rights this year. But Marty Supreme's an incredible film. I don't think it's reached Crave yet, so you might have to go to the theater to see that one, but definitely worth a watch.
Well, we'll continue to follow it through the morning, ctvnewsottawa.ca, to get them all the nominations. But if people want to follow you and your journey and your opinions on the snubs, the surprises, how would they get to you?
I appreciate that. So my articles are on Ottawa Life magazine, as you mentioned earlier, and my Instagram is CFL_fan.
Love it. Well, thanks for your time today, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll take a peek outside through Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Stay warm. We'll be right back.
And that does it for us here today, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, and temperatures are going to continue to get a little bit cooler. We'll keep you nice and cozy. Maybe my pants will survive Friday's show.
Let's hope so.
See you tomorrow, friends.